Hey guys, Luke with Logical Lacrosse here, and today we're going to be going over part 3 of my NCAA Lacrosse Week 4 review for all things that occurred in the men's D1 lacrosse world. As always, feel free to look in the description below to see if I cover the game you're looking for in this episode. If it's not in this part, I promise you it's either in one of the other two parts or it's in one of my two special features for this week. But after saying that, let's get into this. So, first game, Manhattan lost to Lafayette to open their week, but they have a good rebound against an improving first-year program in St Bonaventure. Manhattan takes this game 15-12 in front of a home crowd of 383 people. Really tale of two halves in a way. Manhattan wins the second quarter 6-2, and Bonaventure wins the second half, though, 8-6. So, pretty good game for both teams. Bonaventure clearly improving, but yeah, Manhattan deserves credit for this game, for taking this game. Shots in their Jasper's favor, 45-32. Turnovers good for both teams, 16 for Bonaventure, 15 for Manhattan, so pretty good. Ground balls went to the Jaspers, a reason they won, 42-29. Another reason they won, 0 for 2 on the man-up for Bonaventure, so not good enough, clearly. And 1 for 4 for Manhattan, so they got one goal off of it at least. And also got 3 added possessions by those extra penalties from Bonaventure. But players of the game, we'll start with St. Bonaventure. Jackson Rose, 4 goals, great job. I'm glad some guys have finally stepped on offense. I said that at the early beginning of the year after Bonaventure's first game, when I did my special feature on them, that they need a guy to step up on offense, and I'm glad some guys are finally doing that for them. Just took some time. As I said, new program. And for Manhattan, Luke Hansen, he had 2 goals, 4 assists. So good win by Manhattan, and Bonaventure just keeps improving. Next game, a little bit of a surprise to me, even though both teams are very good and evenly matched. I thought Marquette would take it, but Detroit Mercy on the road beats up on Marquette and wins 15-12 in front of a home crowd of 441. Really, Detroit Mercy never let up. They started fast, 4-1, and they didn't really give up the lead after that. Shots were in favor of Marquette, 51-38. Turnovers, not bad for both teams. 17 for Detroit, 14 for Marquette. Ground balls goes to Detroit Mercy, 32-27. And the man-up, not good for both teams. 1 for 5 for Detroit Mercy and 1 for 3 for Marquette. But 5 penalties on Marquette really played a big part in their losing of this contest. But players of the game, I'll start with Detroit Mercy. I got Cam Costas, he had a hat trick. And for Marquette, I got Peter Henkes. He had 5 goals. Really good game. I hit basically 50% of the offense. Yeah, great win by the Detroit Mercy Titans. I think they're my favorite to win their conference. And Marquette, Big East, they got a lot of time. They got to improve, though, if they want to compete against the better teams in the conference. But otherwise, good, solid game by both teams. So another upset this week. Not getting as much talk because it was against unranked Brown. But Stony Brook goes on the road and beats Brown 13-11. Score's a little deceiving. Stony Brook kicked their butt until the fourth quarter in front of a home crowd of 794 people. It was 8-4 Stony Brook at half. And the only reason it got close was because Brown went and won the fourth quarter 5-0. They went on a 5-goal run. But, I mean, it was definitely not enough. They dug themselves in a hole in Stony Brook. I mean, they had some collapses defensively, but they hold on and they win. It was a big win for Stony Brook, especially getting blown out of the water against Penn State to open their year. So I'm glad they rebounded. Shots in favor of Brown, 38-29. Way too many turnovers for both teams. 27 for Stony Brook, 21 for Brown. I think the 27 turnovers are a reason why Brown was able to get back in the game. Ground balls, low ground balls for both teams. Not a lot of ground balls this game. 16 for Brown, 15 for Stony Brook. Man up, a lot of penalties in this game. 3 for 7 for Stony Brook, 3 for 9 for Brown. And my players of the game, we'll start with Stony Brook. Tom Hahn, he had 3 goals, 1 assist. And Darian Cook for Brown, he had 5 goals, 1 assist. So great win for Stony Brook. And Brown's they're gonna have to rebound. No one's gonna feel bad for him. And they gotta just suck it up after this tough, kind of deflating defeat. I mean, they got Yale and Cornell and stuff in their conference, so they're gonna have to improve and do it quick. So next up, number 1, Loyola at Rutgers. Rutgers kind of not been as impressive as I thought they were going to be, and Loyola as impressive as I thought they were going to be. And Pat Spencer had the coolest goal all week. So check out his goal. You'll know which one it is when you just look on the Lacrosse social media outlets. But Loyola wins this 13-7, never in doubt. It was 7-2 Loyola at half in front of a Rutgers home crowd of 1,255 people. Shots, both teams had 40. Turnovers, 20 for Loyola, which is a little worrying for them, and only 12 for Rutgers. Ground balls, 41-30 in favor of Loyola. Players of the game, Loyola, Pat Spencer. I know, what a surprise. He had 5 goals, 2 assists. Just a monster game again. And Jacob Stover with 18 saves, which is a really big reason why Rutgers couldn't get anything flowing on offense. He just kept ruining it all with his saves, so he does deserve credit for that. Not all the blame goes on Rutgers' offense being kind of inefficient this game. But for Rutgers, I got Owen Mead, a different Rutgers player, stepped up, and he had 2 goals. So yeah, Rutgers really struggled in this game, but Loyola, they're the top team in the country for a reason. And I think they're definitely one of my favorites to make the championship weekend. So this game, really good. I was surprised by this final because when I checked the scores, UMass Lowell was winning by a pretty sizable amount. But UMass Lowell collapses at home to Siena, and Siena takes this 16-15 in front of a home crowd of 229. UMass Lowell led this 10-4 at half, but Siena wins the second half 11-5. I mean, what a collapse by the Riverhawks. But Siena definitely deserves credit for a comeback. I mean, that takes a lot of mental fortitude to not give up and to come back and win. So they do deserve credit for that. So great job, Siena. Shots in favor of UMass Lowell, 51-49. Turnovers, 11 for Siena, a reason they won, and 18 for UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell was also 10 for 17 on their clears, which is not very good. And that played a big part in Siena being able to come back and get a couple extra possessions. Ground balls in favor of UMass Lowell, 37-28. And my players of the game, for Siena, I got Keenan Cook, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6-point game. And for Siena, I got Matt Murakami. He had 14 saves. Really kind of got left out to dry by his defense in the second half, so I feel kind of bad for him. But congrats to Siena on a great win. UMass Lowell, you're going to have to rebound. That is a tough way to end your week, especially opening up week 4 with a loss to Holy Cross. You're just going to have to rebound. But yeah, good, exciting matchup with a lot of drama. Speaking of a game with a lot of drama, this was not one of them. Penn at Duke. Duke dominates. I watched first half of this game. It was so boring because Duke was just murdering them. 17-7 is the final in favor of the Blue Devils. Terrible weather. It actually got moved to Duke's practice field because it was raining too much at Duke's actual game field. It was 12-3 Duke at half. Danowski called off the Dogs second half, which was very nice of him. Shots in favor of Duke, 45-32, excuse me. Turnovers, 18 for Penn, 15 for Duke. Some of that is because of the bad weather, so not bad on turnovers. Duke, only 14-19 on clears, but again, it was extremely tough weather and conditions, so give them some leeway there with this game. Ground ball as Duke wins 34-25, and my players of the game, Tyler Dunn, he had 1 goal, 1 assist for Penn, and for Duke, I got Joe Robertson, 4 goals, 2 assists, he had a great game, and Brad Smith with 3 goals, 3 assists. So yeah, really good win by Duke. They got Richmond next. I think that's going to be an exciting game on Friday night for week 5. But yeah, Duke was not challenged in this game. So next up, Utah at Denver. And Denver, a very good elite program, built to win titles, and Utah, a brand new program. I'm sure you could have guessed how this is going to go. Denver wins 15-6 in front of a home crowd, 2,240 people. So cool, a lot of people out in Colorado got to see a D1 program from Utah. Who would have thought we'd see that a couple of years back? But yeah, it was 9-3 Denver at half. Shots in their favor, 43-29. 20 turnovers each for both teams, very sloppy. Ground balls, Denver 42, Utah 28. Face-offs, 21-4 in favor of Denver, and D was only 1 for 5 man up, so that's not very good. But Utah deserves credit on their man down as well. Players of the game, Utah's man down D to be 80% for them on stopping Denver's man up, which is loaded. And for Denver, my players of the game, Brent Booz, 20 of 23 on face-off, which was a great rebound for a true freshman, especially after that Duke loss, where they really kind of blew that game, in my opinion. Also, I got Ethan Walker. He had 3 goals, 2 assists. He had a great weekend overall. But yeah, good win for Denver. Utah, I mean, they're just having some growing pains. I mean, no one expected them to really win this game. In your new program, you're going to pay your lumps unless you're the Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL. But yeah, I mean, good win for Denver, and they did what they're supposed to do. So UMBC hosts Mount St. Mary's, and they come out firing all cylinders. UMBC takes the lead 5-1 at the end of the first quarter in front of a home crowd of 405. 13-10 UMBC was the final. Shots in their favor as well, 37-36. Ground balls in Mount St. Mary's favor, 33-20, with the face-offs also being in Mary's favor, 21-6. Turnovers in their favor, though, but not in a good way. 23 for Mount St. Mary's and 14 for UMBC, a reason UMBC won, low turnovers. But players of the game, we'll start with Mount St. Mary's. Stamps Steven, he had 1 goal, and he was 21 of 27 on the face-off, so he was definitely the player of the game for them. And for UMBC, I got Ryan Frawley, he had a hat trick. So this was a really solid game overall, but UMBC really took control. Really helped them that they started so quick. But yeah, I mean, not much else to say about this game. I mean, good, solid game, but UMBC, the fast start really paid off for them. So final game on the Saturday was Canisius hosting Hartford, and Canisius takes this 16-12 in front of a home crowd, 280 people. What made the difference, Canisius blows the game open really in the third quarter, 8-0, winning the third quarter by that amount. I mean, that's awesome. That's half their goals. So Hartford's D played pretty well, except in that quarter, but that was a really bad quarter. Shots in Canisius' favor, 40-37. Turnovers, 20 for Canisius, 16 for Hartford. Hartford pretty good there, but Canisius not very good, but they win. Ground balls, Canisius wins 30-29 with a man up, 2 for 5 for Canisius, 1 for 3 for Hartford. Players of the game, I got Dylan Jinks, with a hat trick. And for Canisius, I got Matthew Boussinalt. He had 4 goals and 1 assist, so good win from Canisius. They got Air Force next week. But, it's good they got a win after that Furman loss. So, first of our Sunday games, Lehigh at Cornell. Cornell takes it in a very close game, actually. Lehigh kind of blew this game like they did against Virginia. Cornell wins it 14-9 in front of a home crowd of 342 people. Lehigh was leading 6-3 at halftime, but Cornell was down and wins the fourth quarter 7-0. A massive run, 50% of their goals. I mean, talk about clutch and a collapse, though, for Lehigh's D. But they didn't get a lot of help from their offense, which is kind of been the story of the year for them. Shots in favor of Lehigh, 36-33. 19 turnovers for them, 18 for Cornell. So Cornell kind of cleaned up on their turnovers. Ground balls, Lehigh wins 31-25. Face-offs, Lehigh wins 18-9. And man up, 1 of 8 for Lehigh, which is pathetic for Cornell to have 8 penalties. I mean, come on. And 1 for 4 for Cornell, so both teams man ups and need to improve. Players of the game, for Lehigh, I got Alex Tuminello. He had 2 goals. He was the only multi-goal scorer for Lehigh. And for Cornell, I got Jeff Teat again, as he played well this game as he did in Friday's game against Hobart. He had 4 goals and 2 assists, so good. Tough win. They got some adversity for Cornell, and they came out on top. Lehigh, they've really blown some leads and against some good opponents. I mean, they can compete, but they just don't finish. And that's kind of the story of their season so far. So this game, not competitive. Hampton at Furman. Furman wins 26-6. Hampton, I know they're a D1 program, but they play a lot of D2 schools. They're really kind of a hybrid. Shame they lose by this much to open the year. That's really tough. In high school, is on the end of some of those. So I do feel bad for them, but Furman does deserve credit for a great win at home from a home crowd of 212 people. Shots in favor of Furman, 54-36. Ground balls, they get win, 43-30. Both teams struggled in the clears. Hampton, 15-26, whereas Furman was 21-29. 26 turnovers for Hampton, 19 for Furman. It's kind of sloppy, even though Furman won by so much. Players of the game, I got the 2 goalies that combined for 17 saves for Hampton, as they were just bombarded. And Kevin Monty Jr., who had 10 of those saves, and Paxton Powell, who had 7 of those saves. For Furman, I just put their entire offense. Basically, everyone scored on that offense today, or excuse me, that day. So I'm just giving it to everyone. When you put up 26 goals, that's just extremely impressive from that whole offensive unit. So yeah, not competitive, but Hampton just got to keep grinding. They got some D2 opponents coming up where they could really take advantage of them and use their good athleticism to beat them. And yeah, Furman, good week. They win, go out week 4 of 2-0. So this game was pretty close for a while. Cleveland State at Denver on Sunday. Denver takes it 16-8, but it was only 4-3 at half with for Denver. So the depth really came out for Denver. They got 12 goals in the second half. I mean, yeah, that's what made the difference. Cleveland State played extremely well the first half. They just didn't have the horses to win the whole race. But this was in front of a home crowd, 1,579 people. Shots in favor of the Pioneers, 41-29. 26 turnovers for Cleveland State. 11 for Denver. Good job by Denver. Low turnovers. Clear, sloppy for both teams. 13 of 19 for the Vikings and 20 of 25 for Denver. Ground balls, 42 for Denver, 38 for Cleveland State. So pretty even. And face-offs, Cleveland State does deserve credit on this. They beat out Brent Booze with the 19-9 in favor of Cleveland State. So they deserve a lot of credit for that. Brent Booze definitely struggled in this game, which is a little alarming for the Pioneers because they got North Carolina next week. Michael Wilson's my player of the game for Cleveland State. 1 goal and 4 assists. You're going to make a lot of friends when you can get a lot of assists. And for Denver, I got Ethan Walker. As I said earlier, he had a great weekend. He had 5 goals and 2 assists in this game. So, good win for Denver. Really did what was expected of them this week, beating 2 teams they are clearly superior to in terms of talent. But we'll see how Denver plays against a good ACC opponent next week against North Carolina. So the Sunday night game and the final game in this part is Army at Syracuse. I actually picked Army to pull the upset. I was impressed with Syracuse's win, but I thought it spoke more to how underwhelming Albany is this year, at least currently. But Syracuse has definitely improved from their Colgate loss. They win this game 10-8 in front of a home crowd of 3,275 people. So Syracuse is the king of New York. Well, no, I guess you can't say that. Scratch that. Cornell's in New York. But shots in favor of Army, 38-37. Saves, good. Saves, we'll get into the saves now, I guess. 18 for Army, 16 for Syracuse. Good goalie play. Turnovers, low for both teams. 16 for Army, 13 for Syracuse. Ground balls, Syracuse really takes advantage of the ground balls. 41-26, more physical on the ground balls. Face-offs are another reason Syracuse wins. 17-4 in their favor. And man up, both teams battled man up, and a reason Army lost. 0 for 2 on the man up, 0 for 3 for Syracuse. I mean, Army converts on both of them. It's a tie game. Who knows what happens? But players of the game, Army, I mentioned the saves earlier, but A.J. Barretta was 18 saves. He had some monster saves. Really helped his team stay in the game. And for Syracuse, I got Drake Porter. He had 16 saves for the Orange, so he had a great game as well with some monster saves like Barreto. And I got David Lipka. He had 2 goals. So, really good win for Syracuse. I think this is a lot better win than their win against Albany. I think Army would beat Albany, to be honest. So congratulations to the Orange, and Army shouldn't feel bad. They're a good team. They're definitely the best of the 3 service academies currently this moment of the year. So we'll see how both teams do moving forward. Syracuse has got Virginia next week. So guys, that'll do it for part 3 of my NCAA Lacrosse Week 4 review. If you like this video, as always, please feel free to leave a like and to subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and a subscription really helps grow the channel and gets the word out so we can reach more people. And as I said before, I'm always looking to improve the channel, so hopefully I can continue to give you guys better and better content as the weeks go on. But if you want more content like this in the meantime, you can follow me at Instagram or Twitter at logical_lacrosse, and I also have a website at www.logicallacrosse.com. So again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day.